First off, I want to start off by giving our praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashem, Rakab Gradash. I also want to give a double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who taught me this word, the brother who teach sincerely down. Also want to give a salutation to the elect scattered across the four corners of the earth. And I got a video I want to play. A man breaking down what Russia's next move. Because Russia is pissed off now. And we know Russia in the scriptures to be that bear in Ezekiel 38. This is Isaiah 54:16. Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coal in the fire. And that smith make weapons. And that smith and that blow the coal, he's talking about nuclear weapons because this place, second death, first death was water, the flood. And the second death is going to be fire, which is going to be nuclear, which is the nuclear weapons. Okay, and that Smith that he created, that scripture's talking about, is Julius Robert Oppenheimer. He's long dead now, but it was a few more that worked on it with him, but now the nuclear weapon is perfected, and Russia has the best capabilities of that. Okay, so let's play this.
Well, we all die. I'm not being facetious right now. I've never been more afraid of the imminent nuclear war than I am right now. We have pushed Russia into a corner. Russia has responded using a weapon of unprecedented strength. This variant of the Rubiev RS-26 missile that was used. Again, as a missile, Putin's speech, I would ask people to listen to it, even if you don't read Russian or understand Russian. Look in his eyes. Watch him as he speaks and understand he has made a decision that if the West wants a nuclear war, the West has a nuclear war. He doesn't want it, but he's made the decision. He has said, all decisions have been made, all orders have been issued, there will be no more discussion. We automatically mirror what you do. So when you attack us with storm shadows and attackums, there's no debate. We don't ask ourselves, we will hit you. If you escalate and bring in a threat from Poland, we will take out the target automatically. There's no debate. And if you want a nuclear war, we will launch everything and kill you all. That's the decision that's been made. That's where we're at right now. All decisions have been made. All orders have been given. There's nothing to talk about except the West needs to stop doing what it's doing. It's very dangerous. He chided the Americans. He said, the weapon we used to be banned under the Intermediate Nuclear Forces Treaty. There was this is a treaty, just I think you know my background. I was a weapons inspector for the Intermediate Nuclear Forces Treaty. In fact, I have the honor of being the first weapons inspector on the ground in the Soviet Union to implement that treaty. This was the treaty that got rid of the most dangerous weapons in the world at that time. The Pershing II, the ground-launched cruise missile, the Soviet SS-20, their SS-4s, SS-5s. We got rid of them. These were the weapons that were going to bring us to war. And in 2019, Donald Trump withdrew from that treaty.
All right, as we still talking about nuclear weapon, I want to read another precept. This is Revelation 18:8. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burnt with fire. For strong is the Lord, Yahweh, who judges her, and that her is Babylon. And that fire is nuclear weapons. So as we see, we see everything being lined up perfectly with the scriptures, because Russia is going to lead America into their own destruction, and America's going to be destroyed. Starting with Russia and the other countries that join them, and everybody that turns on it. Okay, so
now we're done. Accuse the Russians of cheating, but when the Russians went, we're not cheating. You show us the proof. Wouldn't show them the proof. He just said, nope, we're withdrawing. And then immediately tests an intermediate a nuclear range missile, which means that we'd been planning on withdrawing for a long time because you don't immediately test. There's about a year's worth of preparation going on there. And so, but the Russians said, okay, we're not going to develop intermediate range missiles unless the United States deploys missiles to Europe. Well, last spring we had an exercise in Denmark and we deployed intermediate range missiles to Europe. And Putin went, I warned you. Now, this is about Putin. I don't know why people think he bluffs. He doesn't bluff. He's very upfront about what he's going to do. He said, I'm not going to build these missiles unless you deploy missiles there. Then we deployed them, and he said, I warned you. And we went, no, but it was just an exercise. He went, no, we brought them to Europe. So he began building missiles. In 1983, the Soviets, because we were deploying the Pershing II missile to Germany, the Pershing II at that time, if you fired it 7 minutes later, it would hit Moscow. The Russians were scared to death of this thing. They're like, oh my God, it's there. So to respond to that, they built a new missile called the Skorost, the Speed. And basically it was just a modification of existing missiles. They took the first two stages of it, put a different warhead on top of it, a conventional warhead, by the way, and they were going to flood Germany and Czechoslovakia with these weapons. And the moment they detected the Pershing II doing anything, bam, hit it right there, right on the spot. Boom, 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 instantaneous. The speed, the Skorost. But then the INF Treaty came in, people like me, and that was the end of that weapon because it was of the wrong range and it got destroyed and never got deployed in full strength. The Soviet rocket forces, the guys I've been talking to, Savvy, I just want to tell you, it really helps to talk to people. You learn a lot when you do. And the fact that the United States government doesn't want me talking to Russians tells you how important it is to talk to Russians. And I've talked to the Russian guys who are in the rocket force, and they're bitter about the INF Treaty and all that because they view that as Gorbachev giving away their military capabilities. Boris Yeltsin made them weak, and Putin's been gradually strengthened. But even Putin they were frustrated with because he always played by the rules. Putin's like a fair guy. Well, Putin finally said, all right, you're going to do that. We're going to rebuild. The missile that the Russians used against Dnipro, the modification of the RS-26 is the new Skorost. America hasn't woken up to the fact yet that Russia, because we're threatening to deploy a missile called Dark Eagle, which is like a really modern hypersonic Pershing II. We're deploying it to Germany. And so the Russian military went, hey, baby, let's go back to the old playbook. And they've built a missile that now will be deployed, flood the zone, conventional warheads. And the moment we do anything, bam, it hits. You saw it. 6 independently targeted warheads. Each warhead had 6 large submunitions. It's saturated there. Remember, its job is to destroy an American mobile launcher. So when we bring the launcher out, here comes this thing in with its cluster warheads, wham, down on the field, everything dies. We did it to ourselves, and Putin said, you guys made the biggest mistake in your life because we had a treaty where none of this existed.
And the Lord says that he controlleth the kings. Where's the precept at? Let me get on my other phone if I can find it. The same thing he did with the king of Egypt. Oh yeah, the Lord hardened his heart. Because you think was the Pharaoh at the time, that was the king of Egypt, wanted to fight against the Lord? No. But the Lord, he controls everything. Let me find that precept for y'all. Play this while I look for it.
But now we got it. And now you're going to pay the price. And America doesn't know how to do that. Now, I just want to say one last thing to set this all in motion. Biden in September said no to this. Do you remember?
Yep.
Keir Starmer flew down, all that stuff. Said no. Said we're not going to do that because he understood the risks. He was told by Lloyd Austin this could be a nuclear war. He was told by the Russians this could be a nuclear war. Straight up, Anatoly Antonov said, you do this, we're going to nuke America. And he went, okay, I'm not going to do it. Now he's done it.
This is Exodus 7:3. And I will harden Pharaoh's heart and multiply my signs and my wonders in the land of Egypt. And the Lord's doing the same thing here. You know, these plagues, all these different food ports shutting down. America's not going to really have food coming in like that. You're going to see a huge difference. It's the beginning of Jacob's trouble, but also goes back to the Lord, because this place is spiritually Egypt again. And the Lord's doing the same thing again. Okay, so he hardened the king's heart, which is Biden only has a little bit time in there to January to be in the office. So Biden is doing his best that he can do to fuck this place up.
Why? What changed? One thing.
Well, Trump won.
Bingo. And here's the problem. Trump won. Why is a lame duck president hell-bent on taking us down the path to war when the person who won the election overwhelmingly is saying, I don't want war with Russia. I want to end the conflict with Ukraine. That's the will of the people, whether you agree with it or not. It's a democracy. The people voted. That's what the majority of people said we want to happen. And the person who lost the election, instead of respecting that.
All right, so I'm not going to keep playing this whole video. I just wanted to bring out a couple precepts. And if you want to watch, you see his link right here. The rest of it. So with that being said, shalom.